Okay, welcome to the February meeting of the Audit, Budget, and Finance Committee of the Buffalo Fiscal Stability Authority. I will first call the roll of the committee members present. I'm present. Vice Chair Jurasek is not present at the moment, and Director Floss is present.
I'm here.
As we have a quorum, we may begin with the first order of business, which is the approval of the minutes from the September 27th, 2021 meeting. Resolution are located in the board book under tab 1.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next action is to review the Bfsa's preliminary 2022-23 budget and related 4-year financial plan, and to authorize its posting for public comment. We are not approving the budget at this time, rather approving the document to be posted for public review comment. This document will be posted on the Bfsa website and provided to all city public libraries for public posting. Any public comments received on the budget will be forwarded to this committee. The preliminary budget is provided under tab 1, board book, along with the accompanying draft resolution. Jeanette has some comments. Okay,
Jeanette, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
Thank you very much, Bryce. I just wanted to clarify that the budget was emailed to you. It wasn't included in your original.
Oh, okay.
No, that was, I put that in the annotated agenda incorrectly. So I just have a few high-level comments, which is I reiterate this every year, and I want to reiterate it again, is that the budget was developed with austerity as the principal objective. We are very careful and cautious on how we spend dollars over at the Buffalo Fiscal Stability Authority. 2 significant changes would include the city and the school district sales tax estimates. We'll see increases of 15.8% and 13.5% budget to budget. And that's primarily because when the 21 budget or 2022 budget was developed, there was a lot of uncertainty about the pandemic, where sales tax was going. So it certainly was inclusive of that uncertainty. Sales tax collections have been very strong, as we all know. So that reflects those changes. And then within expenses, the certain inflationary increases were included in certain areas, which is a different approach from prior years where inflation was pretty static. So there are certain inflationary increases, and under litigation, that amount is dropped down to a placeholder in recognition of, we've been in an advisory period for a number of years, and the ARPA funding.
Pretty cold to sue us in an advisory period.
Yep.
Massive
for a
control
while.
over their budgets. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yep. So we dropped that down just to a placeholder. The net impact is total operating expenses are budgeted at $887,656. That's a little bit over a 10% decrease year to year. And that's just my high level summaries. Claire and I just want to thank Claire for your work on the budget. That was a lot of work that went into it. And myself and Claire can take any questions that you might have on the budget.
Okay. Any questions? I don't have any. Fred?
No, I thought it was well put together, and let's see if we get any comments from anyone.
Yeah, no, I think everybody's been working very, very hard over there under very adverse circumstances. So hopefully we get out of this now. This preliminary budget is prepared by Bfsa staff, commences the public commentary period. If any committee member or attending director has any comments now, we will record those comments. I would only concur with Fred. Any additional comments over the next few weeks should be sent to Jeanette, who will circulate updated versions of the budget as they become necessary. The same request will be made to the full board today. Approval of the budget itself will be required at the June board meeting prior to the beginning of next fiscal year. I will move to authorize staff to post the preliminary 2022-23 budget and related 4-year financial plan on the Bfsa website and in the city public libraries. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next item of business is to approve Lumpston and McCormick as auditors for BFSA for the current fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022. Lumpston and McCormick have provided excellent service over the past several years and have proposed an increase of $700 to the audit fee. Lumpston and McCormick were originally contracted pursuant to a request for proposals, and this action will extend the contract for an additional year. Copy of the engagement letter and accompanying draft resolution has been provided under tab 1 of the board books. I will move to approve the engagement, the accounting firm Lumpston and McCormick, to perform BFSA's audit for the year ending June 30th, 2022. Is there a second? Any discussion?
Jeanette, who's going to be the auditor, and are we getting anywhere close to our 5-year rotation? Or
We did get close to our 5-year rotation. So how it was handled was we had Sarah Dayton as our partner for 5 years. Donna rolled on for just 1 year, and then Sarah has rolled back on for another 5-year period.
and that's a legitimate way to do that. That's following the rules.
It is. And she reached out to make sure I had no issue with it before they went ahead and made that change.
Well, Sarah's done a good job. I don't want
I'll say. No, I think they've done a very good job. Very cooperative.
Very much.
Okay, the next item of business is the annual.
I think we got to
report.
vote, Nils.
Hmm?
I think we got to vote.
We didn't vote?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a complicated process with all of us here. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The next item of business is the annual reporting for the 2022 to this committee's from the Internal Controls Officer regarding testing and related findings. The Internal Controls Officer is a statutorily required appointment. Internal control memos are included under tab 1 of the board book. Internal Controls Officer Bryce Link will share his report with us. Okay, Bryce.
All right, good afternoon, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to address the AFB committee this afternoon. As was already stated, the internal controls reports are located in tab 1 of your board books. The 3 areas that were reviewed were the accounts payable, recording and processing, expenditures, authorization and payment, and the petty cash. Also, there is a copy of the BFSA petty cash policy included under tab 1. BFSA being an agency of 5 staff, there's quite a bit of oversight occurring on all transactions. Key component of that is the segregation of duties, and that was reviewed and demonstrated that controls are in place in regards to BFSA operations and are functioning well. During the course of my review, there were no material findings. Primary scope of the first review of the accounts payable, recording, processing, including testing over 95% of all transactions from the fiscal 21-22 year through the first 6 months. Part of that testing was making sure that all the approvals and appropriate authorization, as well as supporting documentation, was included. This process for account payables actually hits 4 out of 5 staff members in here. The administrative assistant is a key component in this, as she is responsible for preparing purchase orders and submitting it to the vendor once the executive directors approve them. And then once the items are received, she reviews, make sure they match purchase order and that they're entered into the accounting system. At that point, the comptroller is responsible for reviewing the entries, the accounting system verifying them, and then moves back to the executive director, who authorized the posting in the accounting system. And once that's done, the comptroller can move forward with cutting of the checks, which are provided to the treasurer. And the role of the treasurer are reviewed and make sure all the appropriate documentation's there, and subsequent backup. And if there's an incident where there's an item in excess of $25,000, there's 2 signatures required on that check. And that usually occurs once a year with the pension payment. Outside of that, all other transactions are below that threshold. The Detailed review of the aforementioned records was completed. There was no material weaknesses identified. In addition, it is noted that BFSA, in an effort to promote transparency and good governance, posts the following operational documents online. Included are the BFSA prompt payment policy, BFSA procurement report, the BFSA procurement guidelines, and the BFSA travel policy. Second area that was tested was the expenditures, authorization, and payment. In doing this, there was a review of the purchase card, employee expenditure reports, as well as travel reports for anybody that may have attended the conference. All requested material was provided to the internal controls officer in a timely fashion. There was no items identified or concerns in review of the material. Once again, all the material had the appropriate documentation and approval throughout the process. As I said, there are no material findings, and is determined that the segregation of duties is more than sufficient to counter any potential fraud on a going-forward basis. Once again, BFSA posts multiple guidance and policies online and promoting transparency. Those guidance include the BFSA procurement guidelines, BFSA procurement report, BFSA compensation reimbursement policy, as well as the BFSA travel policy. The third area that was tested was the BFSA petty cash policy. The review of the process and controls was a thorough one and has led to no material findings. And directors will see that there is a copy of the petty cash policy included in their board book. Big thing was make sure the petty cash policy was adhered to and that the assets are secured and accounted for by the BFSA. At this time, there are no findings in regards to the petty cash policy. I know I went through the three area reports rather quickly, so if there are any questions, I'd like to open it up to the directors to address any of them. Knowing that the reports were in the board book, I figured you'd already reviewed those.
From my perspective, nice job as always. Very
Thank you.
clear. Fred?
Thanks, Bryce. Yep, I have no questions.
Okay. Any other
Thank
business
you.
to be considered by the board? Hearing none, I'll move to adjourn.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.